for sure. Like, every time I play Sandopolis, I'm like, yeah, what's that funny smell? Sonic 3 tier list time, baby. Sonic 3. We've been waiting a while to do this. You know, we've done Sonic 1, we've done Sonic 2, we've done some Sonic OST rankings, and I'm joined again by my good friend Chris. How you doing, Chris?
I am good. Busy day, but not busy enough for this.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think Carnival Night probably is just the worst zone. I think you've said it perfectly. Worst zone in Sonic 3, and going into spoiler territory for the next one, I guess, but probably the worst zone in Sonic 3 and Knuckles full stop. By
Yeah,
a long way as well.
by a long way. None of I don't think any of the Sonic and Knuckles zones are really particularly bad, but Sonic 3, just Carnival Night. The rest of the zones are fine. Like, I think that's probably the only bottom tier, I would say, personally.
Yeah, it does stand out to me as being the worst by like quite a chunk, and it's unfortunate really because you've come off the back of a really like good zone before it, in my opinion. There's a couple moments in the one that comes before, so I'm hinting at Marble Zone, but well, not Marble Zone, Marble Garden, is it? Something like that. That's quite a high energy boss fight right at the end of that. Then you drop down into Carnival Night, and instantly, especially if you're playing Sonic Origins, you hear that theme. And I'm just like, oh no, I know what the next 5 minutes to 10 minutes, depending on how good you are, is going to be like. Yeah, it's not great. And this one moment that I was referencing earlier that took me ages to figure out, literally took me forever, is the so you know the circular cylindrical platforms that move up and down? We've got to talk
the
about this
momentum
moment.
ones, yeah.
We have to mention it. There's that one where you need to hold down, then hold up after you've jumped on it, just to get them to gradually move up and down. You get momentum.
Oh,
and one of them, you can literally be stuck there and not progress in the level unless you know that. Now, I don't know if it says it in the original Sega game guide. I can't quote that. I was too young. I mean, we both were too young when that game came out to know if it was in there. But if it wasn't for the internet, I would not know. More importantly, what's next? I am torn between two here. Maybe I can give you my idea and you can pick one.
Okay.
I think next. Well, go on, have a guess.
Marble Garden?
That's one of them. Maybe we go for Marble Garden next then.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that one tier above it though, because I don't think it's as bad.
Yeah, it's not. It's nowhere near as egregious as Carnival Night. Like, it's got its fun moments, and that's the thing. I think that's what makes it a lot better than Carnival Night.
Yeah, for sure. I think this level's actual design is a little bit better. Like Carnival Night at times, right? Feels like Metroidvania-esque. Right, that's not a problem. In I like Metroidvanias. Who doesn't, right? If you like platformers.
Yeah, not in a Sonic game.
Not in a Sonic game, exactly. I don't want to be backtracking to find a switch that opens a door somewhere else, like in Carnival Night. I'm going to stop roasting it, but I could sit there and do a whole video. Marble Garden, whereas there is some backtracking if you get the odd moment wrong, it's nowhere near as common. And there's a few things that put it below the others for me. I think it's the momentum of the level. So what I mean by that is there's a lot of stop-start.
There's a lot of stop-start.
I want to run left to right a lot. Like, yeah, I get a little bit of backtracking and there's height and sometimes there's platforming that'll slow you down and whatnot. That's all good. That's in every Sonic game and I like that. But there's a lot of stop-start. You know the hooks that you have to pull to get you up the mountain? Or the discs you have to start running on and get them at the right height to get through a little gap, or the walls you have to break. You know, there's so many things that you just kind of have to stop for if you don't, especially if you don't know they're coming. I'm trying to look at it from a perspective of we've played these games, at least me anyway. I've played this game through, I'd say between 5 to 10 times. Nowhere near as much as 1 and 2, but I have played it through a fair amount, to start to end. I mean, and I always find that level catches me off guard. Still, it's quite a hard one to remember.
It's because of. See, because this is what I mean. Like Carnival Night and that are very, very open in terms of how you kind of progress the level, but probably a bit too open. But it's open in a way where there are multiple routes to get to the end, like a normal Sonic game would be. It's just that the levels are just, like I said, they're just very long, and those two are definitely the longest. When I played it last year, they were the longest two out of all of them. I still got through them, but they definitely took a while to get through compared to every other zone.
This game's other levels, bar these two, are like at least all beat it, really. If I had to do like A to
Yeah.
B. But I had to still separate them on a separate tier list here so we can rank them. But that just shows how like solid it is otherwise. I would now say, I don't know if this is a hot take or if you agree, but I'd say Sonic Origins, if you're going to play them officially, only officially, the definitive way to play them is Sonic Origins, I would say.
Yeah, easily.
It's got
Because
all
you've
the
got
benefits.
there's so many multiple characters
Yep.
because you play as Amy as well.
Yes.
And especially on PC, you can actually mod the game as well, which I have for the soundtrack.
I mean, I don't blame you. One positive of this game, and Marble Garden has my favourite, so I feel like it's a good time to bring it up. Boss fights, the peak of 2D Sonic for me. Because one, there's a variation, which Sonic's always jump on Eggman's head. It's quite simple, it always is. And, well, you know, there's some variation, sure, but you know what I mean. Sonic 3 does a really good thing where occasionally it will have you in the air. Sometimes you'll need to hit it from the side. There's the one with the disc at the end of Carnival Night, to be fair, where you need to send the disc into the boss by dodging it consistently or something.
Oh, yeah, you're right, yeah.
And you don't actually jump on it. Like, there's a lot of things in Sonic 3 just to vary and mix up the bosses, and I mean, Marble Gardens is so cool. I remember where Tails picked you up and you discovered you could fly. I knew he could fly, but I discovered that he could pick you up and fly. I was like, that's so cool. And then I tried it in the next level when I was a kid. I was like, wow, you can actually do that.
I don't know if I don't know if sorry. I don't know if there's anything that you've ever picked up on, but like Sonic 3 compared to 1 and 2, Sonic 3 is the only one of the first 3 games. Well, I say first 3. It's technically the 4th game because of Sonic CD.
True.
I didn't know this until about a year ago, but basically,
Winks.
all the bosses, they actually mix up like the bosses that you get. Like in the first 2 games, it's just Eggman for like every single boss.
True.
Whereas Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and I'm talking about both games as well, the bosses are like they're either robots or they're Eggman.
Yeah.
It mixes it up, and
true.
it's usually it's. I find that kind of fascinating because even like actually no, I won't go into that because that's a spoiler. Even though it's not a spoiler, it is a spoiler. But it's about Sonic and Knuckles' final boss. But
we will get there. Yeah, we will get.
Yeah, we'll get there at some point.
You have our word. We'll get there sooner than the gap between these two.
Yeah.
The only time I can think that you fight a boss that isn't Eggman in the first 3 games, if we're including CD, is in CD against Metal Sonic. How that boss works is pretty cool, though, because it's not a direct fight, it's the race, isn't it?
Yes.
Where you've got to dodge his attacks, jump on him, and make it to the end of the level before he does, or something, if I remember off the top of my head. And if you do, he goes into the electricity or explodes, or something like that. I remember it better from Generations than I do CD, if I'm honest. What's next, though? That is the question. I think my other pick here is the one that I was torn with, but I want to preface this. We've got 4 zones left for Sonic 3, and I do think all of these are quite good.
Pretty much any level with any amount of water, because like basically so the first zone and the last 2 zones don't have water in it. I know Ice Cap's ice, but like it doesn't have any actual water in it.
Yeah, for sure. The reason why I again, I think you'll understand here, but the problem with this one is it's a good water level, but it is a water level. But it's a really good water level.
It is a really good one, because at least there's a lot of momentum with it, where you can like run into those things, those spinny things where like the hand comes up and it holds Sonic, and like Sonic will spin,
It's the quickest level in the game. How fast you go in it, anyway. The amount of speed you get in this level, it makes me enjoy it loads. Like the adrenaline I get when I'm running across the water, that's such a cool moment. Constantly in the water, this is definitely like a bottom tier level. That's when it sucks, because you got the piranhas that nip you and steal your rings, and you can't jump. That is so painful. I hate those enemies, possibly the worst in the game. You've got the fans that you need to use upwards that are really finicky. You've got to jump on the railings that go round and round under the water. That all sucks, but you can avoid it all. That's also the positive spin on this level. If you're good and you run across and you know the route, you can avoid it all. So I'm torn.
It's still a good level. It's just that it's a water level.
I completely agree. And to be honest, it's a bit harsh to say Oh, it's good if you play it the right way, and we've got to consider the whole level, I guess.
It's like you have to make a concession for it just to say, oh, well, it's good if you do it like this. Well, it's like, I mean, you don't make that excuse for the other zones. Why does it have to be for this one? I'm not even going to say that I know what I was doing because I just can't remember being like in between the water and stuff. But I don't ever remember struggling on the level.
For sure. And you've got the power-ups, which really help. It's one thing we've not mentioned yet, actually, that we probably
the power-ups. Actually,
the bubble that surrounds Sonic
bubble
really makes the water level fun because you don't have to worry about slowing down and getting the air bubbles. Instead, if you're good and
you don't
hit,
drown.
You don't drown.
Yeah, exactly. And
really
you can bounce as well.
Yeah, you can bounce, and it makes your descending way quicker than the slow descending you get in 1 and 2. You can just go straight down, and I quite like that as a feature too. I would say that, going back to Hydrosity then to end that the biggest weakness that puts it maybe below Ice Cap for me is probably the boss fights, the 2 boss fights. I don't like that they're... Well, one of them is underwater entirely, pretty much, and then you have to go up the sides. You know the robot that comes...
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. And it spins... He creates the, like, the... Not the tornadoes, the whirlpools and stuff, right? Yeah.
Exactly. I don't do that boss properly. I just damage boost it. It's easier. And that's probably not a good thing. Like, if your best strategy is to just damage boost the boss, I always think that's a criticism rather than a good thing. We have to balance things here. Would you say Act 2 of Ice Cap puts it above... Okay, the next one to discuss is it Ice Cap or Launch Base?
Now, I love Launch Base's theme.
Oh,
like it's so good, man. It's so good.
It's empowering. If you could get suspense, if you could get the dramatic side, the sense of urgency, speed, you know you're at the end of this segment, it's before Sonic and Knuckles starts, and you can sense the actual, like, the situation is pretty dire, and the build-up, it's all encapsulated within that theme, so I get why you love it, especially when you hear it in-game. Totally. Is the second act of Ice Cap enough to bring it above Launch Base Zone for you?
Yes, because with Ice, for me personally, so like, even though I love Launch Base Zone, it is definitely not better than Ice Cap. And again, even though it's quite, even though like the flow of it is quite good, there are still parts of it that can slow you down.
Also, death pits. And
death pits.
Death pits suck. I get why they're a thing. It makes the game harder, and it is technically... Can I call it the last... Okay, yeah, it's the last level of Sonic 3. I'll word it very loosely and do abbreviated, like, quotation marks. But I get it's meant to be a little bit of a challenge. But death pits suck. They really do.
They're awful.
Knuckles and his whole plot twist and what actually is happening and what we see in terms of story and narrative is so cool here. Like, it was very early video game cutscenes, basically, where the characters move and interact, and even though there's no spoken dialogue or text like you did get at this time, the way it's told just through the pixel art, beautiful storytelling. You don't need dialogue. You understand the plot of this game perfectly well, and Launch Base Zone does that very, very well. That leaves us on to our top 2, though. I do think now, for me, because of the Ice Cap Zone has the peak, but Angel Island might be the best first zone, and that's a very controversial take. But best first zone in Sonic history, at least 2D Sonic.
I will say this though, again with the transition, but it's not necessarily a transition. It's more the cutscene that happens when you're like running, and you got like Eggman's like big airship dropping the bombs. That's really cool. Just straight up, I think that's so cool.
The benefit of Angel Island, what I think
is that it's the first one.
It is the first one. You're completely right. And the almost cutscenes, again, if I can call them cutscenes, but you know what I mean, where the airship's flying across with the bombs, with the boss shooting the bridge down below you to know you can't escape, so you have to fight him on the platform. How the game starts with Knuckles, quite literally, by the way, punching the Chaos Emeralds out of Super Sonic. Does this mean Knuckles is canonically the most powerful Sonic character? Shadow couldn't do that. Knuckles quite literally just one taps Super Sonic, gathers the emeralds, and in that time has Sonic can't catch up. He hides them all over Angel Island in what, like a second? Knuckles OP.
Yeah.
Then you see the graphical upgrade. 1 and 2 look so similar. They look so similar. There's minor improvements in 2, but you can tell they're very, very similar, same age, 3 looks exponentially better. It is so
much better.
The pixel art's great. The music kicks in. It's iconic. Sure, it's no Green Hill Zone or even Emerald Hill, to be honest, in terms of how much I remember the music for the first zone. But it's arguably just as good. I just think it's... If you look at Super Mario World's theme is still very famous, but it's not as famous as the iconic one for Super Mario Bros. Doesn't matter if it's as good or not, but iconic, it's probably not, right? I'd look at that for Angel Island's theme as well, personally. Go there. So Ace is where all the other just amazing zones go, and I don't particularly need to choose between them. I don't know if you feel the same. Like, I just say Ice Cap and Angel Island are great.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they are good zones, and considering it's the first half of it as well, it is genuinely quite good.
Yeah, Angel Island, really, really good. I know we've sort of done that before Ice Cap, so we'll end on Ice Cap in a second, but I don't think it could do much more to improve a first zone. I don't think it's very hard in a good way, but then it will punish you. If you just hold right and just try and run, you will learn very quickly. Oh, I'm going to fall here. Oh, I need to jump across these platforms in the waterfall and time it. Oh, the power-ups will help me under the water, or the fire will help me get to do this jump easier, rather than running all the way around, whatnot. There's so many little power-ups and little things that prepare you for later in the game. Perfect first level. I'd argue it's better than Green Hill. Not iconic.
It is better than Green Hill.
But not only that, Hill's probably the weakest. Even though I love Sonic 2, out of those 3 zones, I'd say Angel Island's probably the strongest, which is a hot take, but it is really well made. Really well made.
The amount we have to Sonic and Mario as well, just the amount of our gaming history you kind of have to credit to them in terms of how much has changed. Like Mario and Sonic pioneered platformers in terms of you can have a slow and fast platformer, and you can also have you can have a slow and methodical platformer like Mario, or I say slow. It's not really a slow game, but I'm talking about compared to Sonic. And then you got Sonic where you can just blast through every level, and it's just contrast alone. And then also, even when it comes to 3D games, okay, Sonic Adventure might not be as good as say Mario 64.
To put them on the same level would be really harsh, but I get what you're doing with this.
But they're still the pioneers of sort of those types of games. Okay, so Mario 64 isn't the first 3D game ever made, but it's the first 3D game that everyone knew about.
Yeah, pretty much. Alongside that, I'd also give credit to Crash. Crash is sort of under the radar. Crash 1 is only a month after Super Mario 64, and also blew up massively so. What I'd give credit to... I guess Crash is in there, but more so Sonic and Mario is the mascot platformer. Like the idea of a mascot and having somebody that it sells the brand. Don't get me, that's for Nintendo. Of course, now there's so many, like Pikachu for Pokemon, Link and Zelda. You have obviously Mario himself, Mario Luigi. The whole Mario cast is arguably more famous than 99% of other video game casts.
Pretty much, yeah.
The whole Mario. But I'll stick to Mario, who's arguably, not even arguably, is the most famous video character.
Yeah.
And Sonic's probably second.
Yeah.
Like, people recognise Mario and Sonic like that. Yeah, you don't have to be... What, if you're below 50, you know who Mario and Sonic are? But yeah, you're completely right. And I think we have zones like Angel Island for Sonic specifically. We can do Mario maybe another time. But the zones like that in Green Hill, Chemical Plant, they just cement what it is to be iconic and level design.
Yeah.
Lastly, though, we've kind of done it in a weird order. We've not spoken about Ice Cap enough. I feel like we should touch that just before we end here with this first half / just Sonic 3. The way this level starts, dude, wow.
Yeah, the snowboard at the start.
And the theme kicks in when he lands, properly. Oh, dude. Even the Origins one isn't bad. I do not mind the Origins one for it. Compare it to some of the other Origins soundtracks. Yeah, no, I'm good. It's good on both, which, I mean, fair play. The original's way better, but I still do not mind the Origins one, which is a positive. And then you go straight into the level. The weakness for me is that the first act, only slightly, is a little bit stop-start.
Yeah.
If you get it wrong and you do the loops over and over, and then the platforms, you have to go back if you don't get enough speed and jump off at the right time, the swinging platforms.
Yeah.
They're minor gripes, though. I feel like I'm looking to nitpick here rather than it being an actual problem when I play it. When I play it, I'm not actively thinking this is a problem. So maybe I am nitpicking a little bit. But that's how good these zones are.
Yeah, I agree. And also, I mean, I know there's a couple of instances where Sonic can get frozen, right? I think there's pockets of like frozen air.
Yeah, that's the way to put it. It can help you, right? Get across the spikes in one segment. Oh, dude, it's been a while since I played it. So
that's right. Yeah, that's only in Act 1, not in Act 2.
It's that instance again of my only minor gripe with the game is sometimes they'll introduce a mechanic that's literally in the game once, but it's detrimental to know how to do it. If you want the summary of this video, guys, I'm not going to say skipped here because we want you to watch the whole thing and the whole discussion. If you want a summary, good game. These 4 zones that we've put at the top, good zones. The other 2, not so good. Boom, summary done. I feel like that's a good way of putting it. By good though, I mean genuinely some of the best zones in Sonic.
Yeah, easily.
At least 2D Sonic. 3D is a different kettle of fish. We'll be releasing a part 2 fairly soon. It will definitely be a much, much shorter break. If you guys do enjoy it, though, be sure to show your support on it. I feel like the Sonic ones have been doing really well for us recently, so it's good to hear that you guys are enjoying it, because we like making it. We like talking Sonic. It's a big passion we have. We'll keep this tier list here. I'm going to take a screenshot of it just in case, but I think I can save it. So we'll keep this as it is, and we'll throw in the Sonic & Knuckles levels next time. There's actually way more content here for us to delve into than Sonic 1 and 2. That's why we've separated it. Thank you for joining me today. I enjoyed it a lot.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me. I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah, dude, it's been awesome, and we will be back soon doing Sonic & Knuckles. So if you guys, like I said, did enjoy it, drop a like. Comment if your guys' opinions is completely different to ours. If so, you're wrong. I'm joking. It's only an opinion. Please let us know what you think, and we will be back very soon. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.